Hey everyone, this is Abek Musaif and I'm recording a video on how to do a demo where I will generate a study guide, which is an agentic workflow. Alright, so last Monday I was demoing this project in each of the 4 sections, and it turns out it worked in 3 out of 4 sections, and in section A3 unfortunately it didn't work. So I can just share briefly why it didn't work, and just wanted to re-record the video, fix it live if needed, just to give the chance to the students of section A3 just to see the result of the demo, because they were never able to see it, and maybe it will be useful to other students as well. Alright, so the reason why the demo didn't work eventually is because of how large language models are trained. So the way large language models are trained is that they use a snapshot of the internet data, and that snapshot just is taken at some point in time, and which is several months ago, maybe half a year ago or something like that. And on the other hand, the rate of change is so fast in software, including APIs. So I'm using Anthropic API in this demo, and it changes a lot, and some of the features that it had before become obsolete. And this is the reason why at the time the large language model was trained, the API was up to date, but today it no longer is up to date, so you have to use the latest version, and we'll try to do just that in this demo. Alright, so let's do it again. So here's what so what's the goal, what's the purpose of this demo? Well, with this demo I was hoping that to demystify the concept of agentic workflows a little bit by demonstrating how you can actually build an agentic workflow for a specific real-world reason. And in this case, we're going to build a study guide generator, which is an educational application that will create personalized study materials and quizzes using a multi-agent workflow. So what's the workflow? Student will enter a topic of interest. The system will generate a customized lesson, followed by an interactive quiz, and each time a feedback will be provided whether the response was correct or not, and why. Here's the architecture at a high level. I'm going to use 4 agents. Agent number 1 is going to detect the topic that the user is interested in, given the prompt. Agent number 2 will generate a custom lesson based on that topic. Agent number 3 will generate a quiz question. In fact, it's going to generate a series of questions, and each time agent number 4 will provide feedback. And at the end, when the loop is finished, it should show like a summary of the results. Okay, so what are the tools that we will be using? Originally I was planning to use some visual tool just to simplify the process of demo creation, and it didn't work. So eventually I decided to use this specific tool, which is Claude Code. And what I liked about it is that this tool lives in a terminal, and that allows it to use all of your laptop's capabilities. And we're going to be using Python. Alright, so for this to work, if you want to do it on your own, you will need to get 2 things. One is the something like ChatGPT account if you don't have it, or Claude account, which is in my case, and separately you'll need to get an API key, and these are 2 separate things you need to have. So you need to have like a ChatGPT or Claude account, so you can communicate back and forth with Claude Code, and then you need to have an API key so you can actually run scripts and issue queries against it. Alright, let's do it. So here's the terminal I'm gonna use, and to get things started, I'm gonna create a folder. That's exactly what I did. Study guide. Last Monday. And first thing I'm gonna do is create like a virtual environment in Python. That's pretty standard stuff. Nothing new here. Alright, and once it's created, let's activate it. Alright, so I think we're good to go. Let's launch Claude Code. Alright, and this is what it's gonna look like. This is Claude Code in action. It lives in within your terminal. Alright, so at this point you're supposed to enter a prompt, and I've created a prompt before. It took me multiple iterations to do it, but yeah, let's go over the prompt. Help me build a study guide workflow based on the specs below. Launch a web server on my laptop implementing the following specs. 1. Get a prompt from the user. Next, detect the topic of the prompt. Then, given the topic, generate a short lesson. In this case, it's just hard-coded to less than 200 words. So I don't want to spend too much time during the demo. In practice, you probably don't need to limit the size of your lesson. With 2 buttons, OK should proceed to the next stage and below. Cancel should stop the execution. The lesson should be generated in Markdown and rendered as HTML accordingly. This is followed by the while loop. We're going to run it 2 times. That's good enough for the demo. First, quiz. Generate a multiple choice question to assess the user's grasp of understanding. With 2 buttons, submit will take you to step 4.2 and cancel will stop execution. Followed by the feedback generator agent. Given the user's response, provide feedback explaining why it was correct or incorrect with 2 buttons. Continue to go back to step 4.1 if it ran less than n times, or finish to go to step number 5. Finally, display a summary of the taken quiz, whether the user answered all questions correctly or if they need to study more. And here are a few technical requirements. Use Python whenever possible. Use environment variables whenever possible, for instance, to specify which model to use. Here I'm using a specific version of Anthropic API, which is the latest one at the moment. And finally, show a progress bar after each button click until the next agent's UI is fully formed. So what's the idea here? Hopefully the agent will follow our prompt, but earlier when I was playing with the demo, let's say you are in a quiz generation mode, and then you answered one quiz question and then the new one is being generated. So what you're seeing is the old question, and you're not sure what is happening. Is it a new question being generated, or is it a bug? Are we stuck in this step? So to sort of provide some feedback to the user that something is actually being processed right now, that's why I'm asking the system to show a progress bar. Alright, so without further ado, let's copy the specs, and now let's paste them into this tool. I'm drinking my coffee at the moment. Alright, do you want to create requirements.txt file? Yeah, so this is the standard way of managing dependencies in a virtual environment. Yeah, let's go ahead and create .env example file. That's fine. Okay. Do you want to create app.py? Yes, of course, by all means. Please go ahead and create this file. Next it wants to create a templates folder for our view. All right, you could actually click Control O to show thinking. Oh, okay. Do you want to create index? Yes, please go ahead. Create index.html. Okay, it wants to create some static folder. That's fine. Okay, so I was just switching back and forth between modes by hitting Control O. Yeah, I want to create like a JavaScript file. Okay, at this point I'm going to hit 2, so it can go ahead and create all of the necessary files. Yeah, I have Anthropic API key ready. Yeah, that's good. So let's try that. Yes, I have it. Do you have your Anthropic key? Yes, I want to submit my answer. All right. How do I submit it? Is there a way for me to enter it? Alright. Okay, yeah, submit my answer. Okay, now hopefully it's waiting for my... Okay. Yeah, I just couldn't figure out how to actually provide it. Do you want to proceed? Yes, I want to proceed. Let's activate my environment and install the necessary dependencies. It's okay, we can always modify the env file later. .env file on Unix is the environment file. It's like the naming convention, I guess. Alright, so it's also generating the readme file, which is nice. Alright, I think it's good to go, but before we do it, let me just go ahead and just double check the env file. Env. Alright, yeah, this is where we need to insert our API key, and at this point I'm just gonna copy it from my Google Doc, and I'm just gonna use this one. It's okay, I'm gonna disable it after the demo, so no worries there. In addition, I actually want to use like a more recent Claude model, which is this one, Claude 4.5 instead of 3.5. Alright, so with that in mind, they're saying like it's ready to use, and the study guide workflow is ready. This is how I'm supposed to start the server. We can ask the tool to start the server. Let's see, launch the server. Yes, let's go. Okay, what is happening? Looks like it's running. Yeah, it's running. Okay, cool. So let me switch to Chrome and then localhost. We can try localhost, but most likely it won't work. There is a reason for that. It's okay. So instead we can use 127.0.0.1. That's the same way as saying localhost. All right, so this is the output that all sections we're supposed to see, including A3. So let's enter the topic of interest. And in my case, the one I want to try is Spring Boot, because recently I've just introduced a series of lectures on Spring Boot in my 1331 course. Let's talk about Spring Boot. Start learning. All right, let's see what's happening. Yeah. All right, so it did generate a lesson again. Unfortunately, the progress bar was not shown, so it was not clear like what was happening. But it turns out that the application was actually working. So now it's saying loading next question, failed to parse question data. All right, so let me do this. At this point, it's actually good that we're seeing these arrows. All right, oops, sorry. So we do have an application that's running. Let's stop it. Let's kill the process. 9, 4, 3, 4, 6. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's gone. So let's run it from the command line because I want to see the output. Let's run it again. All right, and yeah, let's refresh the screen. Let's say Spring Boot again, start learning. Yeah, UI actually looks pretty good. I don't think I would be able to create a web page that looks like that so fast. Okay, let's click OK. And this is where we ran into a problem last time. Okay. Yeah, so the error was just happened somewhere inside the code, and we just don't know where. Failed to parse question data. All right, so okay, let's see if we can figure it out. So we try to run the app using Python app py. We reached the quiz generation step and it returned with an error. Okay, so failed to parse question data. Can you fix the bug? All right, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that. Sure, let's go ahead. All right, so it says we should be able to run it, but let's just ask it, please run the app yourself. Okay, that's one of the advantages of using Claude Code, unlike ChatGPT, for instance. Okay, looks good. So let me refresh the browser. Let's learn about Spring Boot. Start learning. Okay, so it generated the lesson. That's fine. Let's continue to the quiz. All right, what's the primary purpose of Spring Boot in Java application development? Simplify the development of Spring application, provide auto. Yeah, that looks good to me. Let's go. All right, so great job. You correctly identify, blah, blah, blah. So looks good. Let's move on to the question number 2. Which annotation is used to mark a class as a Spring Boot application's main entry point? I think that's the one. Let's do it. All right, so check this out. This was correct. And if we're at our last step, the continue button should say finish instead. So let's click finish. Let's see what happens. All right, this looks pretty neat. Here's a summary, 2 questions, 100% score. Awesome. Let's start over. Let's see if it works if we start over. So another topic, let's say dynamic programming. I know it's on a lot of people's minds if you're serious about taking, coding interviews and stuff. So one thing that I don't like here is that the progress bar is not shown. What is dynamic programming? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, continue to quiz. So here I would prefer to see like a progress bar. What is the key characteristic that distinguishes dynamic programming from other algorithmic approaches? Yeah, so this looks like the answer to me. All right, that looks correct. Let's continue. Let's just finish our second round of questions. In dynamic programming, what is the purpose of the memoization technique? To store previously computed results to avoid redundant calculation. That looks good to me. Let's go. All right, so that was correct. Let's hit finish. And here's the nice summary. 2 out of 2 again. Okay, and you can start over. So hopefully you got the drift. We're able to create like a real world app. You can build something like this. You can follow my steps. I did everything from scratch. I was using, the tools I was using. And I really hope that you guys will be able to create your own demos. And I'll be happy to see what you come up with on the last day of the class. Good luck, everyone, and see you all in 2 weeks.